Hey guys, thanks for joining. Hey Evelyn, Jessica. Hey Dennis. We're giving the others a few minutes to join, guys, and then we'll get started shortly. All right, so hey Princess Allen. So guys, this is my first time going live on LinkedIn. So to my LinkedIn community, we'll be joining. Welcome to our community, Kicking with Dr. Britton, where I share my international experiences with teachers from across the world. Also, for the first time, I'm live on TikTok. So this is something new. I'm not live on IG, but I know we're gonna find it because it's there. Hey, Michelle Johnson. So, guys, welcome again for joining. For those on, whether you're on IG, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, welcome to this evening's live. Hey, Taya. Hey, everyone. Good evening. Hey, Island Girl. So I know a lot of you, let me turn this music off. All right. Hey, Alexandra. All right. So again, welcome to those who are joining this community for the first time, where we do regular lives. We've been off since summer. We've been back maybe a few times since summer, but I share on this platform, and it's on YouTube under Kicking with Dr. Britton, as well as IG Kicking with Dr. Britton, where I share international teaching experiences with teachers who are interested in getting a teaching job here in the United States. Disclaimer, all information shared on this platform are from personal experiences that I have experienced or from colleagues that I am close to who would have shared their international teaching experience with me. So, very excited to share my experiences. I did not know there were so many people who had interest in teaching in the United States, but did not know the how to or where to start. And I've seen where, since I've started this platform and sharing information, how many teachers have been successful in getting a teaching job here in the United States. I'm telling you, I recently have a gentleman all the way from Bangladesh who got a teaching job here in the United States from watching Kicking with Dr. Britton. He shared with me that he does not know if he would have gotten this opportunity if he did not stumble upon my YouTube channel Kicking with Dr. Britton. So if you're not a member of this community, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel for more interviews, because usually I be interviewing teachers also who come and share their international experiences with us. So it's not just myself you'll see on this platform. Other teachers usually come on to share their experiences, and those are usually well received by our viewers. Talia is saying your program helped me to complete my waiver. Oh, wow. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that information, Talia. So those who are seeing or hearing about Kicking with Dr. Brittany for the first time, you have found yourself something good. So today's topic is direct hiring in the United States. And this was specifically requested by one of our weekly viewer who has been on and would like to get some more information about direct hiring. So I will be sharing with you what direct hiring is. But before I go to that, I want to explain some of the popular ways in which teachers usually get teaching jobs here in the United States. Hey, Amma. Hey, Amma. I'm getting ready for work all the way in Japan. Oh, wow. Hey, Julian. So, as you are aware, many school districts are short, meaning they don't have enough teachers as they would like, and so they are reaching different reaching out to different avenues, or should I say hiring teachers from different countries to fill some of these vacancies. And so if you are a qualified teacher in your home country, then if you seek those opportunities, you may end up with a teaching job in the United States if that is your desire. Hey, Camilla. So because of this teacher shortage, a lot of programs have been, hiring teachers. And when I say programs, I want to clarify because maybe not everybody on here would be aware of what teaching programs are, or should I say J1 exchange programs. Some of these teaching programs, what they do is assist teachers in getting a teaching job here in the United States. So what do I mean by this? We have programs, for example, FACES, that's Foreign Academic Cultural Exchanges Services, or EPI, Educational Partners International, or we have Participate, previously called VIF, and also TPG. These are just a few because there's a lot more teaching programs available. So what these teaching programs do is they allow teachers from different countries to go on their portal or their website and put an application in for a teaching position. Most of these teaching programs, they search for specific teachers. For example, they might need teachers of mathematics or teachers of science or early childhood education or elementary education, whatever it is, because not all the programs hire teachers from the different areas that they teach. So if you apply to one of these programs that I just listed, you apply directly to the program. And what that program does is send your information out to different school districts and try to get a job for you. So that's one of the popular ways in which teachers have been, coming to the United States, to teach. Hey, Diane, to teach. So those programs are very helpful. I myself came here on a program, and I'm forever grateful for that program because it has assisted me in so many ways. Now, a lot of people try to get on these programs and they might not get on those programs because the programs basically has a set of requirements that they need to adhere to, and so they want the teachers to adhere to those requirements also. Some of those requirements include a bachelor's degree in teaching, at least 2 years experience in your home country. You should also be fluent in English, You must have a clean criminal background in your home country. Also, some of them require that you have at least 2 years on a driver's license in your home country. And they want to know that you've been driving for at least 2 years back home. Now, these are not all the requirements. I just have a few that I'm just saying off the top of my head. But if you're new to this platform, as I mentioned earlier, there is more than one video on my YouTube channel that talk about what do you need to become a teacher in the United States. In those videos, I list step by step, one by one, the requirements of most of those teaching programs. So you can check those videos out. Thank you, Diane. So, um, what I need to clarify also before I go any further, because I like to make my disclaimer, I do not work for any of these programs, and all the information I'm sharing is from my personal experiences along with experiences from my colleagues. Because you will find that when you come here in the United States, you're going to meet teachers who came from their home country, from different countries and on different programs. So, for example, I might came here on a specific program, and then I'm at a school where teachers came from a different program. And so we learn about the different programs as we get to know each other. All right. So the programs also, I did some videos earlier also that spoke about some of the programs I mentioned earlier, where I gave you in-depth details on how you can apply on those programs. But today's topic is really on direct hiring, but I wanted to give you a background of one, or should I say, one of the main ways that teachers come here to the United States to teach. All right, so some teachers find that when they apply to the programs, they are not getting through because the programs, as I said earlier, are looking for specific teaching skills or specific teachers like English language or mathematics or whatever it is. And so this is a time when other teachers have to branch out and try to find a work for themselves. And that's what we call direct hiring. Basically, direct hiring is just applying directly to the school district. It's just like you are back home and you say, hey, I want to find a teaching job, and you just search on your website or you search through your community, and you find schools that are hiring and you apply to them. You can do the same thing from where you are, wherever you are, whether you're in Ghana, Jamaica, Spain, Italy, wherever you are. You can go on websites here in the United States, search for school districts, see what job opportunities they have, and see what matches your background and experiences, and put your application in. That's simply what it means by direct hiring. Direct hiring means you would not need to go through a program sponsor to get that job that you are desiring. So let me give you a comparison with both. With the program sponsor, you basically apply to the program sponsor, and let me clarify, some program sponsors places you in only certain states as, and that's not because of any ill will. Some program sponsors are only eligible to place teachers in some specific states. For example, FACES places teachers in South Carolina. EPI places teachers in South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. And I'm not sure if they added something else, but I'm sure of those three. So that's what I mean by the program sponsors. They are limited, most of them are limited on the amount of states they can place teachers to teach. Whilst for direct hiring, you can choose to go on websites of school districts in states that you would like to teach. So, for example, if you'd like to teach in Arizona or South Carolina or North Carolina, you will go on your website and find school districts in those states and apply directly to those states. Now, let me say this: not all school districts do direct hiring. Some school districts will refer you back to say, okay, I'll offer you a job after this interview, but you still would need somebody to sponsor you. We will get into that after. I don't want to confuse you. All right, so what is the best option so as to ask for? I'll have a question and answer section at the end so as not to be back and forth. Okay, Basi? All right. So, how does direct hiring work? And I basically just explained how it works. I basically explained how it worked. You go on the website and you apply. So, I'm going to give an example. So I'm going to give an example of going on a specific website. There are several school districts that do direct hiring. I know in Arizona, if you look in Phoenix, Arizona, a lot of those school districts, you can go on and put your application in directly to those schools, and they will offer you an interview if you meet the requirements. Or another school district that does direct hiring is the Savannah Chatham County School District that is in Georgia. So how does this work? You go on their website and you first maybe want to learn some more about their school or their school district. You read you read up on the information, what their school population is like, what the area that the school district is in, basic information that you'd like to know about before you select an area to work in, especially if you're going to be relocating with your family. You want to make sure you are doing your research as to what this area is like. So after you've done that, then you can go on their career section. And once you're on the career section, you can select an area that fits your experience. So if you are, say, an elementary teacher, you can go ahead and see what schools in that school district is requiring or needs elementary teachers. You put your application in and you wait to see if you get a response. Now, a lot of schools, as I say, are still searching for teachers, so you can still go on and do that. But there are also peak times when it's going to be more likely for you to get a job, like, before school opens in August or September, depending on where the school district is. So what I usually encourage others to do after you put your applications in, you can do follow up with the HR department, not with me, because I don't work in the school districts. I'm just providing the information. But if you put an application in, you can follow up with the HR department to find out, hey, I sent an application in and I would like to know if that was seen, if it was looked at, stuff like that. You can ask questions. Most of the times, 95% of the time, the HR personnel will respond and let you know the status of your application. So once you put your application in, what's next? Okay. It depends, Carl Price. It depends. Some school districts offer J1 visa, some offers H1B visa, but I'll come to that again to the end at the question and application in, and the interviewers see something that they like or they want you to teach, or they have some interest in your resume and whatever you put on your application, they might reach out to you for an interview. Now, an interview in most cases is going to be online. So you want to prepare for your interviews. I do have videos also on my platform where I share some interview questions that are sometimes asked in these interviews. So you do your interview and then you're successful. If you're successful in getting a job, and this is through direct hire, it can go one of two ways. They can say, okay, we already have our lawyer. Our lawyer will get in contact with you. You might need to answer some questions from the lawyer to see if you're eligible to get a visa to come to the United States, and then we'll proceed from there. Another way is if they don't have a lawyer, they might say to you, okay, we're going to offer you this job, but you need to find a program sponsor. But you need to find a program sponsor who's going to sponsor you a visa, and you'll come to work for us here in the United States, but they're still going to be your sponsor. Um, Not sure if you understand that. If you're not clear, you can put a question in the chat box and I can clarify that more. So, for example, let's go back to say ABCY, this school district. They have a lawyer. They will, once they do the interview and they want you to become a teacher in their school district, then they'll send your information over to the lawyer for the lawyer to do some follow-up checks with you to say, okay, do you have this, and a list of things that they'll ask for and continue the process. Or they will ask you to find your own program sponsor. And when I mention your own program sponsor, some of these I also have on my YouTube platform where I shared some sponsors who will sponsor you after you get your job by yourself. So for example, you got your job, but the school district is saying you'll have to find a program sponsor. Some of these sponsors are International Alliance Group, IAG, or you can try Teachers Council or Global Education Concepts. That's not all of them, but those are just a few that you can say, okay, I got a job with ABC District and I need ABC District needs you to assist me in getting a visa to come here to work for them. Can you say what is not clear, Julian? You have to tell me exactly what is not clear. Okay, so again, I don't work with IAG or Teachers Council or any of those programs I just mentioned. I just know they will assist in providing a visa for you to come and work for a school district if you received a teaching job directly from that school district. All right. So once you are now ready, they say yes, they're offering you a job. The lawyer says yes. He's going to, once he checks off on the checklist that he's going to send to you, or he might ask you a list of questions for you to respond to and send it back to him. And once all of those meet requirements, what he'll do next is to send you paperwork to go to your local embassy in your country. And that is dependent on the type of visa that the school district is going to apply for. If it's a J1 visa, then the paperwork will come through the mail and you go directly to the embassy. If it's an H1B visa, paperwork has to be applied first in the United States. And then once that is approved, they send additional documents for you to go to your local embassy in your country to get your visa stamped in your book. And you're still going to need to do an interview. Once that is done, okay, you got it. Once that is done, then you get your visa stamped in your book. And there's a lot of things that's going to come in between this. I cannot take the entire day to explain the process, but I'll do the best I can today. What if you are already with a sponsor but seeking to branch off? How does that work? Okay, I'll come to that question after Carl. So once you have gotten this job offer, your visa has been approved, then your next step would be to come to the United States, depending on where you were, whether it's in the in Arizona or South Carolina, wherever it is. But I would say to you, before you come, find people who are in that area who can assist you in locating places to live, or if not even place to live at the same time. For example, places you can stay temporarily until you settle in, because it will take some time for you to settle after coming in the United States for the first time, especially if you've never been here before. Do you apply to the schools before you get the certification? Yes, you can. Some schools, and most schools I should say, because when you apply to teach under teaching programs, you never usually get your certifications before you never you never usually get your certifications before. What they would do is, once you apply to the school, the program sponsors, I know what they do is send your qualification and your documents to the state's education department to say, okay, this is what she have or she has, and that means you are going to want to find out what type of evaluation you would need to do on your transcript if your degree is not from the United States. You know, your degree from your home country, you would need to get that evaluated. So once you get that evaluated, you would send it to your program sponsor or your direct hire HR, and they would send it to the State Department to say, is she eligible to get an international teaching license? Very good question, Monique JT. So when you send that in your evaluated transcript, they can say if you're eligible for a teaching license. I know when I came here, I got a international teaching license in early childhood education, and I didn't have any type of certification in the United States before. I had my certification back home in Jamaica. So you will be eligible, depending on your degree, for an international teaching license. They will allow you to teach on that for a number of years. And then, depending on the school district, you'll be asked to do other exams if necessary that will give you the state's licensure. That's also something that's on my channel where I shared how to get the Georgia license if you were here in the United States before. All right. Um, I see for your answer. Another question: where could I see the job offers in the district school website apart from there? There are other places. Sure. I know people have found jobs on LinkedIn, yes, and some people have found jobs on what's that other there's another popular job site that's on the website that I know people usually find job. I know I did a video and I had somebody personally from the Denver Public School because, as I mentioned, some schools have their own lawyer, I should say this. Some schools have their own lawyers. Some schools sponsor their own J visa, like the Denver Public Schools. I did speak directly to that HR at the Denver Public School, as well as I had a international teacher that works there in the Denver Public School who shared his experience on my platform. That's a video you could also check out. That was Damian Ines, where he shared more about Denver Public Schools. They sponsor J1 visas directly. You don't need to go through a program, but they sponsor J1 visas to teachers from Mexico and Spain. I think don't call I don't want to be specific and say these two, but I'm trying to remember. I think those were the two countries they sponsored J1 visa to teachers from Spain and Mexico, and they also sponsor. Indeed, thank you, Jessica. They also sponsor H1B visas for teachers in special areas such as sciences, mathematics, and special education. So the Denver Public School, I know they do direct hiring. Okay. Are there a website that we can visit that will provide information on schools that sponsor teachers in different states? Okay. So there is a website where you can research to see different J1 sponsors in the United States. I know for sure. If you go and Google J1 sponsors in the United States, you will see a list of program sponsors that assist teachers in getting teaching jobs. I'm sorry, a message I'm seeing in the message that sponsors teachers here in the United States. So if you go to this website, I think it's j1visa.com. I'm not sure, but I will at the end put it in the description below where you can go and find the list of program sponsors in the United States that sponsors teachers to come here in the United States. Also, there are schools that do their own hiring, as I mentioned, the Denver Public Schools and the Savannah Chatham Public School System. They too. Also, if you want to reach out to me one-on-one for, one-on-one consultation, you can do that also on IG on Kicking with Dr. Britton, where I can give you more in-depth knowledge and information about some of these teaching programs and sponsors. Yes, Jessica, jobs are on Indeed because I remember when Damien was on my platform and he was sharing his experience, he referred us to Indeed, and Indeed, Denver Public School was advertising teaching positions on there for teachers to put their applications in. So that's that's it for direct hiring and some of the schools that do direct hiring. Okay. Um, I think I've covered most of what I had here. All right. So as I said earlier, and I want to say this again, I do not work with any of these school districts. Um, any of these program sponsors that I just mentioned, or do I work with um, the school districts, this regional county one, school district two, they also offer direct hiring, as Jessica is saying in the chat box, Richland County that sponsors international teachers, as well as, and I know Richland County is in South Carolina, as well as Lee County in South Carolina. They also do direct hiring. So just to recap, what is direct hiring for those who are just joining? Direct hiring is basically applying directly. Thank you, Monique. I didn't realize you said Indeed also. When is the best time to apply for these programs? Um, the best time I would say for the next school year, if you are thinking to go to teach the next school year, which is next summer, the best time I would say is December, this year, December to early January. That's the best time when everything is really fresh. Okay, so just to recap, what is direct hiring? And then I'm going to take a break, a short break to drink some water, and then allow you to ask questions. If I can answer the questions, I will. If not, I will get back to you with the answers. All right. So just to recap, what is direct hiring? It is basically applying directly to a school district that you are desirous of teaching in. Okay, so what direct hiring does is eliminate the program sponsors, and so you're doing business directly with the school district. So there's no middle person. When you apply to a teaching program, there is a middle person who is the program sponsor who basically seeks the job for you, set the interview up for you and stuff like that. And you basically report to them first when you come to the United States and then go to your school district after. While you're on the programs, while you're on the program sponsor basically communicates with you, ensure that everything is going smoothly. And this is not a bad route because at the at this point you have somebody you can basically be sharing information back and forth with, somebody who's there to assist you along the way and stuff like that. With direct hiring, you basically are hired directly by the school district, and so it's just you and the school district. Okay, when is the best time? I think I answered that. Okay. Just want to say thank you to you Jamaicans, yourself, and others in the UAE offer valuable information to persons wishing. Oh, thank you, Diana. We are not selfish with our information. We will share what we know. I'm in my fifth year. When would you suggest applying for the next school year? I would say starting December, Toya. I am sorry for the miscommunication. That list the schools that do their are in the United States. I'm not aware of a website like that, but as I mentioned before, you can reach out to HRs and find out. And if you see an opening that you're interested in, I'm referring to the personal on LinkedIn. If you see an opening that you are interested in, you can put your application in and see where it goes from there, because you will never know. The opportunities are endless. All right, I'm gonna take a break, guys, and I'll be back shortly for the question and answer segment, and then we'll be off shortly. All right, so guys, I'm back. All right. Toya Young, get your waiver and start applying from now. Thanks, ladies. Mahindri, I am a teacher from Malaysia with 2 years of experience. I'm still, I'm still, where am I? I'm still taking B.Ed. Can I apply to teach in the United States? Okay, so one of the basic requirements is that you have a bachelor's degree. And so if you're still in the process of getting your bachelor's degree, you may can still put your application in, but some school districts will tell you that you need to finish your B.Ed before you can actually come. As I mentioned earlier, there are more than one videos on my channel that share what are the basic requirements to teach in the United States, and a bachelor's degree in education is one of them. All right. Are you working in South Carolina? What's the salary there and the prices of accommodation and food? Can one save money there? I am not working in South Carolina currently, but I've worked in South Carolina for 6 years. It depends on where you live in South Carolina, because South Carolina, I worked in a rural area, so it was fairly cheap in that area. Um, but when you step outside of that area and go in the city, then you know it's more expensive in the city. So it depends on where in the state that you live, if you live in a city or in a rural area. And the salary ranges in South Carolina, I think, from 38,000 to maybe, and I don't want to quote a figure that I'm not sure of, but I'm just going to assume maybe about 65,000. But that's dependent on your years of experience and your teaching qualifications, because if you have a bachelor's degree, you're going to be paid according to that degree. If you have a master's, you'll be paid according to a master's degree, and same if you have a doctorate. um, what they do in South Carolina is they pay you from the time you get finished with your bachelor's degree. Whilst in the state of Georgia, you get paid for your entire teaching experience. I know in some countries, for example, Jamaica, you can, but that's not anymore. But initially, you could start teaching before, like Mahindra is asking, you could start teaching while you're pursuing your bachelor's in education. We could do that in Jamaica. And so When you come here in the United States, South Carolina does not recognize those years that you've been teaching before your bachelor's of education. They will start paying you from the time you finished your degree. In Georgia, they recognize all of your teaching experiences and will pay you for all your teaching experiences. I just entered my second year of teaching in September. Can I still apply? Yes. Because if this is your second year and you apply for the next school year, that means the following school year when you start working, you would have 2 full years of teaching experience. Money, good question. Somebody saying no audio. Princess, are you hearing me? Just give me a thumbs up in the comment if you're hearing because somebody said no audio. Monique, you're hearing me? Yes. Oh, yes. So I'm not sure why you're not hearing Diana. I don't know. I'm not sure why Diana is not hearing, but yes, that is how it works, and every state have their own rule. Like I just mentioned, South Carolina will not pay you for all your teaching experiences. They will start paying you from you finish your bachelor's degree, while Georgia will pay for all your teaching experiences. And then in North Carolina, I know they don't pay for a master's. So if you're working in North Carolina or you get a job in North Carolina and you have a master's, you will not be paid for your master's. You'll be paid up for your bachelor's, but not a master's degree. And every state has their own rule when it comes on to that. Okay. I finished my bachelor's in education in May. Do I have to wait until May to apply? No, since you finish in May, next May, you can apply starting December or January for the next school year. But I'm assuming, Princess, that though you're finishing your degree in May, you have some teaching experience already. Am I correct? Because I know that's one of the requirements. And let me say this also. The program sponsors require the 2 years teaching experience, and they are very strict on that. Most of them are strict on that. But when you do your direct hire, those school districts might not be so strict as to say you must have 2 years of teaching experience. So you want to take that into consideration also. But as I said earlier, if you're interested and you'd like to get one-on-one consultation with me for me to give you more in-depth details, you can reach me on IG on Kicking with Dr. Britton, and I can share more about what I know about the different school districts. All right. You can again. MOE authorized it. You can again, Jessica, so you can start teaching again. Well, that's good. I know that was the case when I started. I've been teaching for 22 years. Awesome, Julian. So teaching for 22 years, depending on the state that you go in, did you have a degree before the 22 years or did you get the degree while teaching? Those are taken into consideration depending on the state that you are going to be or teaching in. All right. I have over 10 years experience. That's awesome. All right. What do you have your PhD in and how long did it take? Oh, my doctorate, it's in leadership, a doctorate in leadership. And it took me 4 years. Was a 3-year program, but yes, it took me 4 years and I'm still proud. Thank you, Monique, for asking that. Yeah. Um, is there any other questions? Guys, if you're watching the live and you're enjoying what you're hearing, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. I see 4 thumbs up from Facebook. I see that 4 people across Facebook are enjoying what they're hearing. Others on YouTube, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up just to show that you appreciate what is being shared today. And also, Jessica said school districts are not strict on experience. Some of the school districts are not strict on the experience, but the program sponsors are the ones who, and that is not because they're trying to be biased or anything. Most of the program sponsors, they have to follow the rules of the state, which say if you're taking teachers here in the United States on a J1 visa, which is an exchange program, these are the things that they must have. So they want to be in compliance with those rules, and so they're going to say you must have these things. While if a school district is hiring you directly, they can determine what they are requiring from their teachers. So that's something we have to take into consideration. Are there any specific skills the interviewers look for? They want to know that you are flexible. They want to know that you are willing to adapt to changes, because there will be changes when you come here to teach in the United States. I'm telling you, some people think it's easy and it's just going to come and everything is going to fall into place and I'm just going to be ready. Everything takes practice and everything takes time, and you will be required to learn new stuff and do things a little different from what you're used to back home. And so it is something that I'm always saying, try to come with an open mind, come with the idea that you are ready to learn something new. Yes, you're going to take some of the skills that you have from your home country, but then the schools here, they are, they have their own culture, their own values, and their own beliefs, and they want you to adapt to most of them. And so they want to know that you are flexible and adaptable, and you're willing to, adapt to changes or make necessary changes if needs be. Okay, they want to know that you work in teams, because they're big on that collaboration and working with your colleagues and getting things done and stuff like that. Do you even? Yeah, you can reach me on IG Monique on Kicking with Dr. Britton, and we can talk some more about that. All right, Princess says, can we take our family on direct hire? Very good question. Now, with the program sponsors, you can take your family, and some of them usually say, wait first for you to settle, and then you'll get the paperwork and you take your family with you. When I was coming back in my time, I got those paperwork free of cost. I did not need to pay for them. What I'm learning with some of the direct hires, yes, again, you can take your family, but you might need to pay for your family members' paperwork. Is that clear, Princess? So, for example, you get to come on ABC District. They hired you directly to come to teach in the United States. You come here by yourself first because you want to get somewhere to live. You want to get an apartment to stay and stuff like that and get settled. And then your family member is going to come after. What some of the program sponsors are saying is you're going to pay a fee for each of the family member that you will be taking here in the United States. Okay, so the direct hiring does come with some form of fees, and most of the websites, once you log on to them and try to get information, you will see what fees you'll need to pay. And I did mention some of those earlier. But good question, Princess. Yes, you can take your family. Good evening, Marcella. Does Florida pay you for master's degree? I'm not 100% sure about that, Danica, but that's something I can check out and get back to you. Participate is one of the better programs based on what I've heard. Gregory. Okay. Okay. I'm just reading noted with thanks. Okay. All right. So guys, I think that's it. We've covered a lot. I know people wanted to get more information about the direct hiring. I hope I answered all your questions. I don't know how many of you are aware of the Eyelet brand. It's called I Love International Teachers, where I show my love for and support for international teachers, and created this brand called I Love International Teachers. I'm wearing my shirt today. It says International Teachers Rock. You can also check out in my on my IG, or you can get one of these shirts. And it's not just international teachers, but also aspiring international teachers. We have shirts for you also. You can check those out. If you have any more questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box. We have like 8 minutes to go before we are off. All right, so go ahead and check out how you can get one of your ILIT t-shirts showing your support for international teachers. And you don't have to be an international teacher. You can have a friend who's an international teacher, because we do have a shirt that says, my BFF is an international teacher, or I support international teacher. Guys, if you are enjoying so far the information that was shared on this platform, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe if you have not subscribed as yet. All right. And I just like that my weekly people be coming on. It doesn't matter what time, they will be on. They will be on to hear some of the good information about teaching in the United States. If there's a particular topic that you are interested in and would like to learn more about, you can also send me a message on IG, as the person who requested this topic did sent me a message on IG to say, oh, Dr. Britton, I want to hear more about this. Thanks. You are the best. Thank you, Bessie. You're welcome. All right. Again, you're welcome, Money. Good evening. How long after being on H1B do sponsors start the PR process? So Krisha, it depends on the school district that you're working with. Some school districts do not offer PR process, so that's something you'll have to really ask to find out if they do. And some they offer it, and again, that's something you'll have to discuss with your school district. I'm going to give you 3 examples. I know one school district does not. They will hire you for H1B, and they will tell you straight up they don't do PR. And there's another school district that says, okay, we will offer you a PR after you've completed your 6 years on H1B visa. And so they will start the process maybe in your 4th year, so that to make sure the process is completed before you finish that 6-year visa. And then there are other school districts that will start it the same time that you start working in their school district. So that's something you will have to take upon to yourself, to ask your school district if they offer it, when they offer it, and what the process is like. I paused my assignment due tonight. Toya, oh my God. Well, I guess you got some good information. So you're gonna go right back to it now. We'll be off shortly. Expenses we need to consider for direct hiring. All right, I'll definitely put that down. Expenses for direct hiring and accommodation. Happy to be here. Hey, Shawani, thanks for coming. Good night, Julian. All right, you're welcome, Marcella. Your shirt rocks. Yay, you're right. Thank you, Marcella. You always share such good information. I appreciate you sharing. Live your best life with Cam. Thank you, Cam. Okay, guys, we're coming to an end. I want to thank all of you for joining. I hope you learned something from tonight's interview. And as I said before, if there's a specific topic you would like to hear about, go ahead and reach me on Kicking with Dr. Britton and send me a direct message there on IG, Kicking with Dr. Britton. If you would like to get more one-on-one information from me, you can also reach me there also on Kicking with Dr. Britton, where we can have a one-on-one consultation. Thank you, Dr. Britton and Diane, whose live interview landed me a teaching job here in the United States. Isn't that something, Alicia Murray Hall? Thank you for sharing that with us. Diane, I hope you heard that. We did that. We did that, Diane. Can a teacher on a J2 get an independent sponsor? Yes. If you are on J2, that means your spouse is the J1 holder. Yes, you can get your own independent sponsor. Good job, Alicia. Okay, guys. I'll get. Okay, guys, thanks for joining. As I said, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Yes, you can, Camilla. You can get your own, not only J sponsor, but you can also get an H1B sponsor. Only thing is that you're still gonna need our waiver, and I think you can do your waiver and maybe just waive your part. But that's something else we'll have to talk about. You're welcome. If you did not give this video a thumbs up as yet, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, share it, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, guys. Bye.